Hello, it's your teacher Em again for another homework help. I hope you learn from this video. On this video, we will talk about our integer number line. We will tackle how to compare numbers, your integers on your number line. We will also talk about absolute values, the opposites, and lastly, what are the fractions if we divide our one whole into parts? What are those fractions gonna be? Okay? Now let's review first the parts of our integer number line. Each time we create our own number line, you start at the center. And you know what? The center will be your 0, which is considered to be a whole number. Remember our classification of rational numbers? The 0 is a whole number. And we said also in our class discussion that everything to the right of your 0 are your counting numbers. Infinitely, it goes to the right. After 4 will be 5 and so on. Okay? And these are your counting numbers. Also, these are whole numbers, including the 0. Our counting numbers are what we call the positive integers. Then we talked about what numbers do we see to the left of your 0. Of course, they are the negative numbers. They are to the left of the 0, and they are negative integers. Now, let's start comparing our integers on our number line. Let's say I am on 0 right now, and I go to the right. As we can see, that as I continue going to the right, I keep on increasing my numbers. From 1 to the right is 2, then from 2 to the right is 3, and so on. That means as you go to the right on your number line, the number to the right will always be greater than the one on the left. That is the same thing even if I start on -3 here and I go to the right, my value of the integer is getting bigger. It's increasing in value. Why? Because look, I'm getting closer to the positive numbers. Okay, now let's say I'm on number 3 and this time I want to go to the left. You see what's going on with the number. They are what? Decreasing in value. From 3 to the left of that is 2. It's lower. So to the left of 2 is 1. It's a lower number again, a lower integer. If you go to the left of 1, it's 0. And then if you go to the left of 0, that's even a lower number. So that means everything to the left is always lower than the ones on the right. And as I go farther here to the left, those numbers, the negative numbers, are getting even smaller. Why? Because like this -5, it is farther from the positive numbers now. So it gets smaller going to the left side with your negative numbers. Let's take two integers now and compare them. Okay, let's say I have a -1 compared to a 0. What can you say about -1 compared to a 0? So look at your number line. Which one is on the left side and which one is on the right side? And which one is closer to the positive numbers? Remember what we said, that everything to the right is always greater than the one on the left side. So -1 is less than the 0. And we put the less than symbol because we read it as -1 is less than a 0. What does this mean then? Therefore, that 0 is greater than the -1 because 0 is on the right side while I'm comparing it to a number that's on the left side. So basically, these two sentences are the same. They're saying the same thing. If 1 is less than 0, therefore the 0 is the one that's bigger. 0 is greater than -1. Does that make sense? Let's compare another pair of integers. Let's say -4 compared to a 0. Which one is bigger? Which one is smaller? Looking at your number line, you know which one is on the left side and which one to the right. So now you know that the one on the left side is always smaller. So negative 4 is less than a 0, which also means that if negative 4 is less than a 0, the 0 is greater than the negative 4 because it's closer to the positive number. Now, we all know that negative numbers are always less than the positive ones, okay? So if I have negative 4 compared to 1 whole, you know that negative 4 is less than a 1 whole because 1 whole is positive while this one is negative. And look, that 4 is on the left and the 1 is on the right. Let's take another pair of integers to compare. Then we will do some ordering from least to greatest. Compare negative 4 with negative 3. Which one is smaller in value and which one is greater in value? Looking at your number line, the one on the left side is negative 4, while the one on the right side is your negative 3. And which one is closer to the positive numbers? It's negative 3. Therefore, a negative 4 is less than a negative 3. And that's the same thing as negative 3 being greater than the negative 4. Okay? So now I'm going to give you a small test, a short test. I'm going to give you sets of integers to compare, and you're going to use these symbols, whether it's less than, the one written here, than the one on the right side. Or if the one written here is greater than, you're going to write down this symbol, okay? Okay, now let's find out what are your answers. Let's do the first one, negative 5. You know negative 5 is here to the left of 0, and that's going to be to the left of negative 4. And you're trying to compare negative 5 with a negative 1. So, how do you compare a negative 5 with a negative 1? You know that negative 5 is on the left side, and while the negative 1 is on the right side and closer to the positive numbers. Therefore, negative 1 is bigger than the one on the left side, negative 5. So if you have to read this, negative 5 is less than negative 1. Let's look at item number 2. It says negative 2 compared to negative 9. Let's go ahead and find negative 2 on our number line. It's here. Compare it with the negative 9. Where will it be? We know that to the left is negative 3, negative 4. You'll have negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, and negative 9 down there. And you can see very well that negative 9 is all the way to the left, while negative 2 is closer to the positive numbers. Therefore, negative 2 is greater than the negative 9. Moving on to item number 3, a positive 2 compared with a negative 10. So you know positive 2 is here, and a negative 10 is all the way down here, right after this negative 9. And you know positive numbers are always bigger than negative, so that means 2 is greater than negative 10. Now the last item, negative 10 compare with positive 2. You know that 2 is greater than negative 10. Therefore, you know that negative 10 will be less than that positive 2. Okay? Now that we're done comparing two integers, let's go ahead and work with some set of integers that we need to arrange from least to greatest or greatest to least. So here, it says arrange the following integers from least to greatest. So they want it from smallest to the greatest number. Okay? So look at the set of numbers given. There's a negative 9, 0, 2, 8, negative 1, and negative 20. Now look at your number line. Where will you place all these numbers? So imagine which one will be farthest to the left and which one will be farthest to the right. If I am just beginning to learn this, I will always draw my own number line, and then I will place them where they should go. I know a negative 20 will be far all the way down here to the left. And I know a negative 9 will be about here. There's the 0 already. There's the positive 2. I know the positive 8 will be here. And there's a negative 1, by the way. And there's the negative 1. So I've already listed down all my numbers. Negative 20, negative 9, the 0 is there, the 2, the 8, and the negative 1. It is so important that you cancel out the numbers that you've already written down. Okay? So you're not going to leave out any numbers, especially if you have a long list of numbers given. So as you can see here on your number line, it's already from least to the greatest number. All you have to do is list them down again. The negative 20 should be the first one. The negative 9. Next is negative 1. The 0. And then the 2. And then the greatest will be 8. And I have all my numbers listed. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are 6 given numbers. And then I'm going to look at my answer choices, whichever is given this way, from least number to the greatest number. Then that will be my answer. Okay, now try arranging this new set of integers I provided. Copy them on your notebook, on your math journal, and I want you to write down your answers inside this box, okay? And I want it from least to greatest, okay? Use your number line wisely. Good luck, and I'll see you on my part 2 video of this video I made. On the next video, I will be talking about absolute values and opposites, and of course, the parts of one whole. Thank you, and I'll see you in class. Bye!